Hello everyone. This is Marsha LaFroth and I am coming live at a very random time. I usually try to do it at noon on Wednesdays, and today this just is when I could get it done. So give me a moment to get this so I can see in front of me who's watching and commenting, and I can share this to my group. Let's see. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm hoping that this is on my page and not my story, and I don't know why. It's not letting me share. Okay, well, I'll just do it here and hope if anyone wants to learn how to make this, they can find me. So, several weeks ago, I showed this little stocking in a live. I didn't show how to make it, I just showed that I had made it. And I had a lot of people asking, how did you make that? And so that's what this video is for. It's to show how to make this little stocking. And I didn't use this paper. This paper comes with this suite of products. It's the Stitched Season Suite collection from Stampin' Up. But for this particular one, I just used these dies and these stamps. So the Stitched Stocking Bundle. That's interesting. I am going to show you things I made with the paper, but that is not what I'm making today. Let me get that out of the way. So this is not a card I recommend for mass production. I first made it thinking I might do it at my upcoming retreat, but it is quite finicky. And the main reason I don't recommend it is that I used this one die to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different squares. So I had to run it through 5 times per card, which is a bit too many for me. So I'm going to show how to make it, but it's probably one you just want to make a few of. And I'm going to actually put a different base on it this time. The actual stocking I cased from the Stampin' Up! Website where they show this bundle, and they had a little that on the front of a card, and I'm going to try doing that card. But let's first make our stocking. So you've got these 2 pieces that you can cut. One's kind of an outside, one's an inside. And for this particular one, I put just to get this red rim. That's all I'm trying to get here. But in order to get it, I put this one, and then I lined that evenly inside of it, and I ran that through my die cutting machine to get this. And before I did that, I put adhesive sheet on the back, and I normally wouldn't do that for this big thing, but I learned when I made this the first time, this was such a small piece to try to get glue on that I just did it this way to make it easier for me when I'm putting glue. So for this particular card, I am only using this outer piece, but this card, I've seen this done on the inside where you just cut this inside piece in a lot of different card patterns, and then you cut along your dotted lines and you use those to get your patchwork. My patchwork is following a different pattern, but that is just, an idea for the future. This is another thing where I didn't cut it like this, but I cut a red big background, and then I cut this separate and just stacked them on top of each other to make a little tag. And then I cut the top part of this in this pattern. I just stuck the top part in there, and it gave me this little star. I kind of had to clip out a little bit to put in the middle. So there you go. Just I'm throwing out some other little ideas at you, even of things I'm not making. But for my purposes, the whole point in cutting that was just to get this rim. And then I cut another stocking in plain white. so that we can put the rim over that to look like casing. Is that what that's called in quilting? I can't remember. It's been so long since I took sewing classes, and my mom is a beautiful quilter, and I thought of her when I made this the first time. And anyway, obviously a different process. Okay, so instead of using DSP, I just cut little squares with this one, and then I cut some other little pieces that we're going to decorate them with, and then we're going to stamp the white background. But I have holly, a little tree, you can cut a bunch of trees at a time, and this little decoration piece that I stuck there. Okay, so the first time I did this, I sort of just freestyle laid these out like so, and then kind of moved them to try to stamp my things around them. This time I decided it's going to be a lot easier if you draw some pencil score lines, not score lines, but draw some pencil lines to guide you as you stamp, because if you looked closely, you would see my yarn perfectly lined up. So here's how I found best to do that. I use my grid paper, which hopefully you guys are seeing in this picture, and I lined this up to be centered where it's, you know, there's a little gap on each side, but mostly I'm centered with this big line here in the middle. And like I said, this isn't necessarily a fast card, but I just wanted to show my process. Oh, hi, Diana. Good to see you. I think my video's pretty delayed, and so if you comment, just know it might take me a second to see it. Okay, so now I'm going to line up along that line and just draw a line. Okay, I'm going to try to do it fairly faintly. And then this top part's going to get covered, but you can see I have a little bit of stuff going on there before I cover it. So I'm just going to come down a little bit so we can see. I'm sure it's not going to be exactly the same. And then here, I am going to need to put one of these there, and I'm just going to move it. So now this is falling right along a line that's already here. That's where the grid paper's coming in handy. Except I have no shadow. I can't get my head over there. Hopefully I'm doing this straight. It's not perfectly straight, but that's okay. It's because this wasn't straight in the first place. When I shifted it up crooked, but oh well. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Let me get this up a little further. And like I said, the first time I made this card, I got to do it this way because I can't see past the shadow. The first time I made this card, I didn't draw lines. I just stamped, and it was close enough. But I think if you were going to make more than one, I don't know, I think this makes it easier. So I recommend this way. Okay, so then you have your grid lines, and then we're going to just stamp in our filler and then add our squares, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so I have all these different patterns we could choose from, and I'm just going to fill them in, starting with the little snowflakes. I only have a Secret C ink, a small spot with me right now, but it's okay, it works. Now if I go into the grid lines up onto the side, like to the sides or above, it's okay because I'm going to cover those. So it's okay that I went up there a little bit. I could have been more careful to not do that, but it's going to get covered. Let me do another one with this. And again, the ones all around, I just don't want to go up into that corner. Which nicely it's rounded for me and makes it so I'm probably not going to accidentally do that. I'm going to get my colors here. And then I'll do Old Olive with my, what do we call that? Whatever this pattern is, crisscross. Now, because only a little bit of that's going to see, I really wanted to see that line, so I am overlapping on purpose to be able to see that line a little stronger. I maybe should have done that there too, but I didn't. It's fine. Okay, and then my last little one I'm gonna stamp is my flowers, my flower pattern. And even though this is finicky, I don't know, it's just something about making it that's satisfying. I guess that's probably how quilters feel with their work. Okay, so now I've got my stamping done, and I'm gonna come in and glue down my squares. And instead of putting glue on those, I'm gonna put on here because we are going to trim off the overlap. Maybe I better not do too much at a time because it might dry faster than I can set these in. Oops. Okay. I think that I made this one a little bit too big as far as where I see my lines coming. It's fine. It's all gonna look beautiful when it's done. You want to make sure you get the right side of the stitched part showing. See, I can see I didn't put that quite down low enough. Oh well. I'm not peeling it off now. Diana, are you off work already? Maybe you got to see me because I'm doing this later than usual. Oh, I'm sorry. I was really doing that wrong because my stamping hid my line. Okay. One more up here. Okay. So then we have this, okay? And we're gonna come around the back. Where did I start? What's gonna be the most glue down? We'll start down here. And you just follow your stocking line. See, this one, the glue is not as dry, so I gotta be careful. I'm curious if anybody watching, hey Christy, is a quilter. A real quilter, not a paper quilter. Okay, I could have just, I didn't even have to fill that to the edge. We're gonna cover this top part, so you just gotta get the edge, okay? So then we have, that's our background. And then again, this piece I cut out earlier. I'm gonna put that on the top first before I add my decor, just my little decorative pieces, just to make sure that I leave room for them and they don't get covered. This is now tricky. I need something dark so I can see the edge. Let me use this 3D plate. I don't remember this being this hard before, but I also used glue before, so there's probably pros and cons. I feel really self-conscious about how long this is taking me. I'm gonna do one side. There we go. And just kind of shove it to the edges. All right, so there we have that little stocking. I'm covering this top with green. Christy and Diana, you guys aren't quilters. Me either, but I get to love my mom's quilts. And I've watched her make them and I'm like, ooh, that's just too much work for me. Now I am seeing some of this red in the background of this, which you could just cut it down if you wanted, but I'm not gonna sweat it. Okay, so then I'll bring in Now, if you have it not quite to the edge, like I have there, I don't know why, probably because it's hard to get this exactly so, just cut it off. Okay, and I can't remember if I had any of that the first time because it's been a while since I made this. So we're going to stick our little holly leaves on here. And to cut those, by the way, there you can cut 4 holly leaves at a time. They've got this pattern or this pattern, and they just come out as individual leaves, regardless of which pattern you use. Stick our little berries. I'll show you guys a few other things I've made. Oh, see, I should have done that one first, actually. I told you I was going to do it after, but I'm going to have to come in here and try to cut that along there. Oh, it could look better, but it's okay. Hi, Diana. I already said Diana. I meant Linda. I saw Linda and my mouth said Diana. Okay, so then we stick our little tree there. And it's possible that the first time I made this, I came and just cut that back piece off so that you don't see it. No, I just cut it down. I didn't cut it off. Okay, so now it's ready. Oh, we need our little bow. Oh, that's not the bow. That's on this tag I made. This is the ribbon that goes with this suite. It's really pretty. Cherry cobbler stitched. And this card has both red and cherry cobbler, which, you know, may seem like they don't necessarily go together, but it works in this paper. So at this point, once you've made your little stocking, you could just, I'm using a glue dot to attach my little bow. At this point, you could just have it be a tag. You could cut a second just plain one and glue them together so there's a tiny opening in the top for a candy cane or something. That would be a lot of work for a candy cane gift, but you could do that. I'm going to do the one, if I can find my base, that I saw on the Stampin' Up! Website with just some paper, and I used this stitch stamp and I was terrible at it. So if someone has a trick for making that straight, this little stitch stamp to make it look like stitches looks like, you know, a child got off the rails with the lines there, but that's okay. So this is kind of what they had it on, and then I put on a white background. You guys can tell me which one you like first. And then for the greeting, so in your dies, you can put greetings on the little stocking topper. I'll show you that in a card. Or they have this greeting set, this little greeting piece. I am going to use that, but then trim the edges. Again, I'm casing a card off the website, which honestly, when I first get stuff, that's the easiest way to do it. I just stuck my fingers in that ink pad. It's to go see what Stampin' Up! Gave you as ideas, I think, because I'm not really great at coming up with them on my own. So we're going to stamp that in the middle, but that would cover, see now with this green background, it feels like a lot of green, like I need a little more white, but that's okay. I'm going to have white with my grading. So let me put that on there. Okay. Linda, you like the white background better. I think I'm going to like it better too, but I wanted to try both. Linda, have you ever been a quilter? That's my question, is, are you a quilter? Hold on, I want to place things. Okay, so we're going to just trim our little corners off. So we have some stitches along the top and the bottom. but it's not quite as big. And I wanted to do that first just to see how I want to fit that. And I can't say I did the straightest job cutting those. Shoot. Well, that's why you use a paper trimmer, guys. I'm going to double them on one side and just do one on the other to get a pop. I kind of wish I would have popped that one up. I just put my stocking flat and it feels really flat. Okay, I want to put this in a place that's not going to cover all my cute designs. And by mine, I mean the ones I cased. Oh, you are a quilter, Linda. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so that is how to make that little quilted stocking card. I don't know how Stampin' Up! Did it. That's the way I did it. There's 2 different backgrounds. Let me know if you like white or green better, because I'll put your names in a drawing to win a card, and then I'll know which one to give you. As I showed earlier, here's a much simpler thing you could do without all that quilting, to just make a little tag. Here's one I saw from Julie Gilson, and if you're coming to my retreat, you'll be making some of these. This is just, we did it all in one color, and we used the designer paper, so that was much faster. Actually decorated the inside of that one. I haven't done it with all of them yet. This doesn't use the dies other than that little top. Here is the greeting. This one just uses the paper, and there's these really great sticky buttons that come in with this set. Here's another sticky button, and they have a little bit of a shimmer. I don't know that that would show up on camera. Here's another card that looks quilted, but it's just the paper, and then I ran it through with an embossing folder to give it more pattern. I'm going to show it closer. But this is, and this was also in the paper. I just fussy cut it out, and there's our little tree again. So it's a very fun, sweet, and if you don't quilt, but you want to give a try at paper quilting, then this is a great way to go. They have all these, will cut them into 4 triangles or 2. You could really get carried away. I've only just begun to play. So thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.